Hello everyone, welcome back to my book review, and in this episode, I want to introduce to you guys a breakthrough book in the education field. Why don't students like school? A cognitive scientist answers questions about how the mind works and what it means for the classroom by Daniel T. Willingham, a psychologist at the University of Virginia. Willingham is known as a proponent of the use of scientific knowledge in classroom teaching and in education policy. He has sharply criticized learning styles theories as unsupported and has cautioned against the empty application of neuroscience in education. Now, coming back to his most famous book, Why Don't Students Like School? The first thing I think you guys can all see in this book is the impressive title, right? It piqued my curiosity to find out the answer. Why don't they like school? I don't know. The title question might appear as an opening to a rant against our educational system. And secondly, when I read the book introduction, I was fascinated because the author used a scientific approach by explaining how our brains work and then leads us to the answer. Then I feel this book is exactly what I'm looking for, and it turned out to be true. I felt every idea in the book is eye-opening. Kids are naturally curious, but when it comes to school, it seems like their minds are turned off. Why is it that they can remember the smallest details from their favorite television program and miss the most obvious questions on their tests? Cognitive scientist Dan Willingham has focused his acclaimed research on the biological and cognitive basis of learning and has a deep understanding of the daily challenges faced by classroom teachers. He explained how they and their students think and learn, then revealing the importance of story, emotion, memory, context, and routine in building knowledge and creating lasting learning experiences. In this book, Willingham has distilled his knowledge of cognitive science into a set of 9 principles that are easy to understand and have a clear applications for the classroom. Firstly, school is hard because we are not naturally good thinkers. That doesn't mean we don't have amazing brains. You can appreciate the power of your visual system by comparing human abilities to those of computers. When it comes to math, science, and other traditional thinking tasks, machines beat people no contest. $5 will get you a calculator that can perform simple calculations faster and more accurately than any human can. But the most powerful computer on the planet can't drive a truck or walking on a rocky shore. That's because computers can't see, especially not in complex, ever-changing environments like you. So, compared to your ability to see and move, thinking is slow, effortful, and uncertain. Now, if you're also bad at thinking, how does anyone get through the day? The answer is that when we can get away with it, we don't think. Instead, we rely on our memory. Most of the problems we face are ones we solved before, so we just do what we've done in the past, such as finding way back home or tying your shoelaces. You may think you have a terrible memory, and it's true that memory system is not as reliable as your visual or movement system. Sometimes you forget, sometimes you think you remember but you don't. But your memory system is still much more reliable than your thinking system, and it provides the answers quickly and with little effort. As you can see, people are naturally curious, but we're not naturally good thinkers. Unless the cognitive conditions are right, we will avoid thinking. So when the condition is right? To say in a simple way, condition is right when it's not too hard, but not too easy. Solving problems brings pleasure. It's like a mental snap of satisfaction from our brain's natural reward system. And as a teacher, our job is to design the task to match closely to the right condition. Secondly, now we all get that thinking is hard, but how humans think? Let's begin with a very simple model of mind. That is the environment, full of things to see and hear, problems to be solved, and so on. Now these inputs will come from the environment to your working memory. Let's say working memory holds the stuff that you're thinking about. Long-term memory here is the vast storehouse in which you maintain your factual knowledge of the world. All the information in long-term memory resides outside of awareness. It lies quietly until it is needed, and then enters working memory and so become conscious. For example, if I ask you, what color is a polar bear? You would say white almost immediately. That information was in long-term memory 30 seconds ago, but you weren't aware of it until I posed a question that made it relevant to ongoing thoughts, where you can it enter working memory. So, our important mission here is to enhance the amount of space in working memory. Why I say it's the most important? What is 7 times 8? 56, right? It takes you 1 second. Now, what is 77 times 88? Now difficult, huh? Because more number and more calculating require more space in our working memory. If the lack of space in working memory is a fundamental bottleneck of human cognition, the trick is to infill richer content into the limited number of items that small space can hold, so you can process more information at a time. There are 2 ways to do this. One is to increase factual knowledge, or we usually call background knowledge. The more factual knowledge you have in your memory, the items that you are manipulating in your working memory are broader and deeper. So don't blame the knowledge at school that you think is useless. In most cases, the more the better. And the only to develop this process is to practice, so you can do more things automatically without thinking. Willingham's cognitive principle here is proficiency requires practice, so we who will become teachers in the near future have to think hard about what our students most need to practice. We also consider that spacing practice rather than cramming is more effective. No matter where children's interests lie, no matter what their talents or intelligences, I do believe that well-rounded general knowledge should be a goal of education. It makes sense to me that we can also generalize about the way students might acquire such knowledge. Educators, parents, and students looking for some good tips on how to do that will find this book, Why Don't Students Like School, a most worthwhile resource. And that is also the end of my book review. I hope you guys find it helpful, and thank you for watching.